went on a blind date last night with an underwear model named Jill. She was described as ridiculously beautiful by my friends who refused to show me a picture. They were laughing. "You don't need a picture, you'll know her when you see her." Phew, they weren't kidding. She was so sexy, it was weird. I never been with anyone remotely as attractive. Anyway, after recovering from shock, it went well. Jill seemed shy at first, but I made her laugh a few times and the conversation started to flow. I actually began to like her. There was a serious glitch though, and it got worse after the second glass of wine. Her attitude toward the waitress went from dismissive to disrespectful, verging on outright rude. It got bad enough that I started worrying about what might be happening to our food in the kitchen. Ordinarily, I would have said something, but I guiltily let it slide because the underwear model. After dinner, we decided to walk a few blocks before catching a cab. I tried kissing her, and she kissed me back passionately. That was all it took. The unpleasantness slipped from my mind. I felt like king of the world. We were walking along, holding hands, and everything I said was witty. Every move I made was the right move. And then she kicked a beggar. It was a pure accident, walking under some construction that had blocked out the streetlights. She tripped over an old woman sitting back in the shadows against a boarded-up storefront. It was chilly out, and the woman was dressed in what looked like a bundle of greasy rags, and half buried in a nest of more rags and filthy cardboard. Jill would have fallen if I hadn't caught her, but I did. Even so, she was instantly furious and yelled,
"God damn it!"
down at the beggar. The old woman's voice came from the shadows.
"Say you're sorry."
Excuse me?
I stepped in between them and apologized and asked the lady if she was okay.
Give me $5.
You're not getting anything. You shouldn't even be sitting there with your feet sticking out. You're gonna kill someone,
said Jill. She looked at me, stuck out a hand for me to take, and said,
"Let's go."
$5.
You tripped me, you ugly old hag. You should pay me $5.
You're ugly,
said the old lady.
You're an ugly person. Ugly.
She was shouting by the end. Jill grabbed my hand and said,
"Come on, what are you waiting for? I want to go."
$5,
came the voice from the shadows. Jill tugged on my hand impatiently, but I felt like I needed to put up at least a little resistance, so I extricated my hand and pulled out my wallet. Jill stepped away, looked at me with disgust, and turned her back. I only had 2 singles and a 20. I took out the singles.
$5,
demanded the old woman. I only had 2.
5.
Take it or leave it. She left it. As I turned away, she said,
Your girlfriend is an ugly person. Ugly. And you talk funny.
Excuse me?
You talk funny.
She said it with a distinct stutter and a weird corkscrew intonation, like she was half singing. Then she muttered some words I didn't catch and sank back into her nest of rags. It was an odd thing to say. I talk funny? I got the standard NYC accent, same as the old lady, no speech impediment, and I wasn't drunk or slurring my words. But it made me queasy to hear her say it. Maybe it was the way she said it, with a cold, nasty edge. Made me shiver. Meanwhile, Jill was waiting with her back to me, making a big show of tapping her foot with impatience. My craven impulse was to apologize, but I shoved it aside and walked past her, saying, Okay, let's go. I stopped in my tracks. Everyone stutters from time to time, but this was more than just a careless tongue. I'd felt an alarming, purposeful resistance, like the back of my throat had willfully clamped down and gagged me. Jill hadn't moved. She was giving me an angry, impatient look. I was suddenly very concerned about saying the word go properly. I tried again. I said with a violent stutter, completely unable to force out the O sound.
What? Are you making fun of me?
No.
Fuck you,
she said and started walking away from me. I was trying to say wait, but it was impossible. I ran after her, grabbed her arm, stopped her. I can't.
I don't like this. I'm not so sure I like you. I want to go home now.
She pointed to the street and commanded,
Get a cab.
I looked at her helplessly. I desperately wanted to explain, But I could have more easily levitated off the ground than uttered a single word. Trying to speak made my whole jaw, my palate, my whole throat seize up. I panicked, thinking for a moment I was paralyzed and couldn't breathe. I stopped trying to say anything, and all at once the tension vanished, and my mouth dropped open. I felt a thick rope of drool slide down my chin and dangle. Probably didn't look so good to Jill. She slapped me, hard.
You're disgusting!
She said, very sincerely, with a petty, hateful look that called back the old woman's insult. Jill was an ugly person. In fact, now that I was looking at her in the unforgiving glare of the sodium street lamp, she didn't seem nearly as pretty as she had before. Not that it mattered. She turned on her heel and stomped off. I watched her flag down a cab. She got in and drove away without looking back. I was actually relieved, because my main concern was being able to say something. Anything. I tried go. I tried fuck.
Fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
Well, at least I could sometimes say fuck. But it probably wasn't enough to get by in ordinary life. So I hurried back to the old lady. She was still there, thankfully, sleeping in her nest. I was afraid to touch her, so I tried clearing my throat. No response. Then I tried humming. I hummed as loud as I could. I hummed America the Beautiful because that's what came to mind. I don't know why, but it worked. She stirred, shifted, and opened her eyes. Then she laughed.
What do you want?
I didn't bother trying to say anything. I just grabbed my wallet, pulled out the 20, and handed it to her. She snatched it away so fast I barely glimpsed her hand. Her nails were so long they looked like claws.
So, you have something you want to say to me?
Very hesitantly, I cleared my throat. Then I said, "Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Certified?
Yes, ma'am."
Now go away.
I walked all the way home while reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, the Gettysburg Address, and the lyrics to Idiot Wind. Didn't miss a word, felt like a new man. Decided to forget the whole thing ever happened. Except, I am a little worried about Jill.